Combat sports fans, welcome to Strong Style. I'm your host, Jeremy the Impact York. This is Impact Media's weekly dive off the top rope into the world of mixed martial arts and professional wrestling. What a week! What a week. I know we were jam-packed all day, every day. I think the only day last week that we didn't have a million things going on was Sunday. I was able to spend my time with the Lord and then come back here and try to get some stuff done that finally the weather has permitted us to do here in Georgia. But enough about my schedule. Let's talk about the week that was. But first, as always, if you want to leave us a question, comment, suggestion, rating, review, no matter what social media you are following us on, thank you. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I believe there's a bell you can hit that will tell you every time any of our shows drop, and you can download it just the second you get it. Of course, our channel is for people who just watch on the social medias is if you go to YouTube, it is impact_media_. If that will catch Strong Style, which is this one, you can get Hootie Who, which is about KSU football, rugby, and hockey. You can, gosh, let's try to make sure we remember all the shows here. You can get that Atlanta show, which is all about Atlanta United and the Falcons. And sorry, there's another one. Oh, you can get the special edition this week. It'll be the kind of finale. We'll talk more about what happens after the finale, where Daniel Snyder will join me again, I believe, on Thursday. I believe that's when that's penciled in to recap the Super Bowl. We've talked all about the NFL playoffs. And like I said, you want to tune in. We will maybe have a little chatter about what happens to that show moving forward. I think you guys are going to like it. And then always, as I said, Board Check, our hockey show, it has its own channel on YouTube because it's been on YouTube longer than any of our other shows. You go to @BoardCheck99 and you will see all of our hockey content. And I think we throw a little bit of rugby here and there. Mostly been hockey here lately. Those are all the places you can find us. And let's see. Tonight, when I give my Elimination Chamber predictions, put in the comments below who I picked to win the Women's Elimination Chamber to go on to face the champion. I'll talk about that too at WrestleMania. And from all of the correct entries, I will pick one at random. And we'll send you something. I don't know yet. We'll send you something. I promise you we're going to send you something. It's going to be something cool. It might even be a sticker. It might be, who knows? I'm looking around here. There's a lot of fun things I can send you. But make sure to do that. Just put my Royal Rumble, or not Royal Rumble, my Elimination Chamber female pick in the comments below. And like I said, of all the correct entries, and it's not that hard. All you got to do is listen. It's not going to be that long from now. Probably 15 minutes from now, I'll actually drop that pick. All you have to do is repeat it right below here, and you might win something. Shout out on the show. Might have you on the show some point. Anything, I don't know. We're going to figure it out. But let's jump right into, let's start with the UFC, because the UFC dominated last weekend. They really did. How did they do so? Well, the UFC had UFC 298, Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria in the main event for the featherweight championship. And as always, we're going to talk about the main card. So let's start with that one right there. The whole week build up, Alexander Volkanovski did some of the best acting I've seen out of an MMA fighter in a long time. As he dressed as an old man, he acted like an old man. He was faking sleeping during the press conference, and he was just really playing up that everybody's like, "Oh, this guy's too old," and he's not, by the way. But as we found out on Saturday night, I don't think it mattered how old Volkanovski was. It was Ilia Topuria's night. Topuria in round number 2. Bang. Lights out. They call it a TKO. I call it a KO. He was out. Ilia Topuria, you're new. featherweight champion. Congratulations. I think I picked Volk in that. So, Ilya, I'm sorry. But I really thought Volk was going to rebound from his last loss and hand you your first loss. And instead, I got that one wrong. Never afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Missed that one. Look forward to your next fight, Ilya, because I think, man, there's some people lining up already. I think Volk, after back-to-back knockouts, should take a little bit of time. But it's not that he got embarrassed in this fight. No. Volk was very much taking it to Topuria. And then Topuria found a couple moments, started to get the momentum, and like I said, then just pow. Like, insert Batman here, just bang. There goes Volk. Volk's still a very fantastic fighter. Him and Topuria may rematch somewhere down the road. I don't think it should be right now. But fantastic way to end that main card. Because right before that you had do they call him the Widowmaker? What do they call Robert Whitaker? Bob Whitaker, man. Gets a unanimous decision win over Paulo Costa. I think he could have ended the fight if he wanted to. But instead, Paulo Costa looked like all that. He's been out for 11, 12, 13, 15 months, whatever it is. Last time he fought, that ring rust is a real thing. And I think that was part of it. And like I said, Bob Whitaker, man, you can call him a gatekeeper. I call him a top contender. And Paulo Costa learned that. We'll have to see what Costa does now. He's lost quite a few, like 4 out of the last 5 or 3 out of the last 5 or something like that after starting so good in the UFC. But we'll see what happens with that. But once again, you can call him a gatekeeper, and Paulo Costa was not allowed entry into the upper echelon. Also, Ian Machado Gary gets the split decision win over Jeff Neal in what might be one of the closest fights of the year. I know we're in February, but there's been a lot of close fights. But, I mean, it had to be, instead of 29-28, it was probably 28 3/4 to 28 1/4, if you could actually break it down. Gary absolutely did win the fight. We'll give him that. But and he might be one of the next big things. But Jeff Neal is not going to go down just standing there, and he's going to let you have it. Machado Gary ends up going to 14-0, but Jeff Neal is another one that I'm glad I'm not a fighter. If I come through that division, he is not. I wouldn't want to fight either one of those guys, but definitely Jeff Neal, because, like I said, he brought it to Ian Gary. And Ian Gary had to earn that one, but he's the next Irish big star, maybe. So we'll see what happens with that. Congratulations to Merab Dvalishvili, who gets the unanimous decision win over Henry Cejudo. Cejudo is, 0-2 since coming back after that 3-year layoff. I hate to say you should question decisions you've made before, but taking all that time off, Henry, when you were trying to get into some other stuff, and that's fine. You're trying to get some other stuff, and you probably should have kept fighting, kept getting those bigger paydays. You still got plenty of fights ahead of you. It's not like he should be done, but you're going to have to face somebody a little lower down the card now and build yourself back up. Merab, he's had hand surgery. He's had a lot of things going on. I think it's been like 11 months since he fought last, and he looked great. He really did look great. Congratulations, Merab. And then lastly, one of the better submissions, it was a rear naked choke. Round number 2, 3:23, the official time according to my monitor, as Anthony Hernandez, I think it's Fluffy Hernandez, was able to take out Roman Kopylov. Kopilov's a bad dude. I think I might have picked him. But good win for Anthony Hernandez. Like I said, he gets the submission victory, and what a just spectacular card that was. So what does the UFC do after a big pay-per-view like that? Do they take a week off? They do not. They are back. This is a fight night, and they even take it a step up. How you take it a step up? Well, this UFC Fight Night, Battle of the Brandons is what I'm going to call it, as Brandon Moreno is going to take on Brandon Royval. This is in Mexico. Forgot the actual city. I probably should look that up. Mexico City, maybe? I need to look that up. No disrespect. I think anywhere in Mexico would have been fantastic. But it's the battle of the Brandons in the flyweight division as Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval are going to square off. Quick pick on this one. I got Brandon Moreno. I know he's the minus 260 favorite, plus 210 for Brandon Royval. Royval is good, but every time I've counted out Moreno, he has found a way to make me look foolish. I know he doesn't do it just to do that, but man, Moreno just finds another level when he needs it. So give me Brandon Moreno to win the flyweight main event. In the co-main event, we get Yair Rodriguez, a minus 180 favorite, plus the 150 dog, Brian Ortega. Ortega's kind of had a rough go of it. This is a good get-back fight for him. I think you could win some money going the Ortega side, maybe teasing it one way or the other. But don't count out Yair Rodriguez either, because, you could almost look that this particular fight could be a stair stepper to the to face the new featherweight champ. That's a possibility. Elite Tapuro, one of these guys could be a next contender up. There's 4 or 5 people hanging around the top. That's why Tapuria is going to have his work cut out for him, regardless of who his next opponent is. As far as this one, man, it's hard. This is hard. I want to side one way or the other. I think Rodriguez is usually the more consistent fighter. I just feel like Brian Ortega is going to realize his moment here and try to. He's probably going to win by decision, honestly. I think this is going to be a really good fight. It might even be slightly better than the main event. But I will take Brian Ortega and his plus 150 dog money on that one. Match number 3. Daniel Zellhuber is the minus 275 favorite against Francisco Prado, plus 225. Could be a little bit of money on Prado. Prado has a chance to win this one, but I think Daniel Zellhuber is more than likely going to win this one. Some sort of stoppage late in the second, early in the third is what I'm going to call for that. But I will take Daniel Zellhuber to win that one. Matchup number 4, we've got Raul Rosas Jr., a minus 270 favorite, versus Ricky Turcios. We're going to go with Turcios. That's the producer Sassy's telling me that sounds right. He's a plus 220 dog, bantamweight division right here. Paul Rosas Jr., really, really good. Ricky Turcios, I don't know much about him. I will be honest. But what I do know about Rosas Jr. is that he is a dog in a fight, and not on the betting card. But I got Rosas Jr. to win this one. Could be decision. Win by decision. This one could go the full distance, or Rosas could get it out of there early. I'm not sure, but I do like Rosas in this main event. And matchup number 5 is going to start off the main card. This is all on ESPN Plus, by the way. I think almost all of the entire card, if not the whole card, is on ESPN Plus this Saturday. Check local listings for times. And check ESPN Plus. They'll tell you. But the women are going to get at it as the women's strawweight division. Sam Hughes is going to take her 8-5 record and her plus 375 dog number there. I'm not calling her a dog. I'm saying the number beside her makes her the underdog against Yasmin Uruguay, who is a minus 525. That is a big discrepancy. Pretty big discrepancy there. Yasmin more than likely will pull it off here, but I would like to see Sam Hughes with a really good performance, and I think she easily has better than a puncher's chance to win this. I'm going to pick Yasmin, but if Sam Hughes won, I would be equally excited. But there's so many more. Just make sure to go check that out. And the UFC is not the only people in action, because the PFC Bellator Championship champions, or PFL champions versus Bellator champions, or they're going to combine all the belts and combine all the champions. That's what they're doing, folks. This is their way of merging the companies. This is a way of making where you don't have so many belts everywhere. They're probably going to have brand new belts, or they may just do it for the PFL belt. But this is going to be in Kingdom Arena in let's see, is it Riyadh? Riyadh? In Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I think it's a spectacular place. Bellator, known for being world traveling. PFL for PFL Europe has done some fantastic stuff over in that area too. They're going to be firing up. They're going to be firing up the Europe. I mean, not Europe, Africa, and some other things here soon. PFL, man, they do some spectacular things. But that one, let's go over the. Do I have how much of the card do we have? Do we have the whole thing? We have the whole thing, all 10 matchups, because if you're reading it off of ESPN, as we are right now, there is 1, 2, and it skips 3, and it goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 10 fights. I guess one got scratched. So we'll have to see what happened with that. And one's a catch weight. So I didn't see the weigh-in. So there's a chance somebody missed a weigh-in or something. I'm not sure why it's suddenly a catch weight. But anyway, matchup number 10, technically, Abdullah Al-Qatani is going to take on Edukandala Rao. I know a little bit about Al-Qatani. Saw him fight when we were here in Atlanta, pretty sure. He can be a little bit feisty, and I think he's more controlled than feisty. I don't know if those two words really mix, but you guys, hopefully he's very controlled in what he does, but when it comes down to actually scrapping and throwing some strikes, he's very feisty. We'll put it that way. So partially because I don't know much about Raul, and I do know a little bit about Al-Qatani. I'm going to take Al-Qatani to win this fight. Don't have any lines on. If you got lines at wherever your favorite betting place is, then more than likely I bet Abdullah Al-Qatani is the favorite. I'm going to take the favorite in this one. Clarissa Shields takes her 1-1 record against Kelsey DeSantis, who is 1-2 in the women's lightweight division. Clarissa Shields, saw her fight a little bit. She is obviously a Olympic boxer. Did some great stuff. She has some good chops, some good deliveries. She's working at her ground game. I don't know much about Kelsey DeSantis. I don't have a problem admitting that I don't know that. I don't want to mislead you guys because I don't know something. I'm not going to make it up. But I'm not impressed. I've seen Clarissa Shields in 2 fights. And she's 1-1. And I could have argued that she at times could have lost the one that she won. She's not bad. I think she's just so new that it's going to be really hard if she goes against somebody who's, all the time she spent in a boxing ring, they spent in a cage. I feel like if Kelsey DeSantis has, I'm sure she has more than 3 fights under her belt. She probably did some amateur, especially jiu-jitsu. If she can get a hold on Clarissa, then it might be over quickly. Clarissa just doesn't have that knowledge yet. She will at some point. She's coming along. She's going really fast. I'm actually going to pick Kelsey in this one. I feel like even not knowing much about her, I think she's going to do something to gain the advantage, and I think she might eventually pull it off. Up to matchup number 8, actually, since they're numbered right. Biagio Ali Walsh. Yep, he is one of the grandsons of Muhammad Ali. He is going to make his pro debut against a 1-0 Emmanuel Palacio. Emmanuel Palacio, 1-0, like we said. He's had some fights before that. This is only his second professional fight, but Biagio, we know, has been doing a lot of amateur fights in the PFL. They've allowed him to do that. He could be a budding star. We'll see what this ends up being. Because this, I think, is the whole card on ESPN News? No. The undercard is on ESPN News and ESPN Plus, and the top 6 fights, I guess the main card, is on pay-per-view. We'll get those in a minute. But you got to take Biagio here. He's got the boxing, but he's been working on his grappling. He's been working on his wrestling. I don't know if you guys know where he trains. He trains at Extreme Couture with Randy Couture, arguably one of the best wrestlers in the history of mixed martial arts. I can name a lot more, but from the Kurt Angle, I can name all the, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, um, Jake Hager, all those guys are in wrestling. But he's been working with Randy Couture, who is not going to lead him down a bad path and not going to teach him to get into bad areas without knowing how to get out. So I'm going to take Biagio Ali Walsh, and until proven otherwise. Matchup number 7, Gabriel Braga is going to take on Aaron Pico. My goodness. Gabriel Braga is a machine out of Brazil, and Aaron Pico is a monster out of the U.S., but you got PFL and Braga versus Pico representing Bellator. This is one of the fun super fights that this merger is going to give us. There's going to be a bunch more, but these two are going to get after it. It's hard for me to pick against Aaron Pico because he is so highly touted by so many. But Gabriel Braga, I saw fight up close twice, and by up close, within a few feet. I just like his style. I like what he brings to an octagon. So give me Gabriel Braga. So like I said, that's all on ESPN News and ESPN Plus. Let's get to the main card and talk about super fights. How about they're going to open it up? They're going to open up pay-per-view with Clay Collard versus AJ McKee. Yeah. AJ McKee, who's 21-1, only has the one defeat in Bellator, and that was to forgot it now. It's one of the brothers, the Pitbull brothers, I believe. Was it Patricio or was it Patrici? I think it was Patricio. Either way, AJ McKee looking to rebound. That was a while back. He's won a couple times since. And Clay Collard, they call him Cassius Clay Collard for a reason. That guy is going to fight until his arms fall off, and even then, he's going to keep swinging. Just super guy. So much fun to talk to. He's one of my favorites to talk to, whether he's got a microphone in front of him or not. Just an exceptional guy. I hear great things about AJ McKee. I'll be honest. I want Clay Collard to win this matchup, but I think AJ McKee is going to win. AJ McKee is my pick. Sorry, Clay. Prove me wrong. Some people are like, oh, well, Clay Collard's not in AJ McKee's, league or whatever. Yeah, they are. They're both in the same division, and they're both in the same company, and that's why they're fighting each other. They're not handing AJ McKee a walkover, and they're not handing Clay Collard an easy matchup to get back into it. No, they put two of the biggest, baddest, most popular fighters in the lightweight division together, and they said, guys, show everybody who's better. And that's what they're going to do. So then we go to matchup number 5. Matchup number 5, Thiago Santos is going to take on Yoel Romero in the light heavyweight division. I mean, this is video game stuff. Knowing that Yoel Romero and Thiago Santos are going to go at it. That's crazy. That's absolutely bonkers. That's bonkers. If you told me this matchup was going to happen a year ago, I'd say, man, you must have hit your head. But here we go. Here it is. Who do I like? I like them both, but I can't pick them both. Give me Thiago Santos. I don't know why, because I really like Yoel Romero too. But give me Thiago Santos, maybe third round decision, because these two are gonna just unleash the arsenal on each other. And man, I can't wait to see this. This is gonna be so much fun. Let's see what on Saturday. So we've got Elimination Chamber. We've got PFL Champions versus Bellator Champions, and we're going to have UFC Fight Night in Mexico. I mean, I got to figure out how to have that many screens. We can make 2 work. We got to figure out how 3 is going to work. We're going to be lighting some stuff up. It's going to be so great. So great. Yeah, give me Thiago. Give me Thiago in that one. Leads us to matchup number 4, Bruno Capoloza versus Vadim Nemkov. Jeez. This is another one. Bruno was really cool to talk to as well. He was fun during the PFL stuff. But Vadim Nemkov is, man, he's another monster. He is a fantastic fighter. I'm actually going to take Vadim Nemkov. I just think he's that dude. I think Bruno's going to do really well, but I think Vadim's going to find a way to get this one done about mid third round. And that's just how I see that one. Let's get to the top 3, which has some unbelievable. I mean, these literally are video game type stuff. Video games. Because we've got Ray Cooper III versus Jason Jackson. And that is a catch weight. One of them must have missed weight. I didn't catch who did. I'm not trying to use the word catch there. Did not see who did. I haven't seen it. But apparently one of them must have missed weight. It's now a catch weight. I don't think it's going to matter. Jason Jackson is looking to knock off Ray Cooper III. Ray Cooper is trying to remind people that he is a big bad man and he can take out people too. So not sure how that's going to actually play out, but that's a super fight. It could have been a main event if the other two weren't bigger fights, and they are. Co-main event, Impa Kasagane is going to defend his middleweight title against the Bellator middleweight champion, Johnny Eblin. These two here, Impa, nobody thought was going to be there, and then yet he dropped some of the biggest champions in middleweight to take that. Another just completely laid-back, humble guy. So fun to talk to. And Johnny Eblin is 14-0 for a reason. He has been leaving people in his wake for a long time. This is another one where I would really love Impa Kasagane to pull off this victory. I'm going to pick Johnny Eblin to win because I think Johnny is the slightly better fighter. I think he's got slightly more weapons and ways to win this fight than Impa does. But once again, everybody counts Impa out, and he keeps winning. Then we get to the main event. The main event. For the heavyweight title, you get Hernan Ferreira versus Ryan Bader. These are two of my favorite fighters. Ryan Bader is like Captain America, Captain Midwest America. If you don't like him, then you might not be a good person. I'm going to throw it out there. He's just a super, just chill, relaxed dad who goes in a cage and beats the crap out of, Emelianenko. Name any heavyweight, and he's probably dropped him in the last 10 years. It's Ryan Bader's just that bad man. But then Hernan Ferreira is finally emerging as the star. He's like 6'7", this giant Brazil human being. It's crazy. He's finally emerging as that star that the PFL signed him to be. They really thought he would emerge as one of the big heavyweights early, and it kind of took. He got set back a couple times. Seems like he's right on it right now. But Ryan Bader versus Hernan Ferreira, it might blow the roof off this place. It really might. That being said, Hernan, as I said, is fun. I've gotten to meet and talk to him a handful of times. I got to go with Captain America. I got to go with Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader, I've been following and been a fan of for years. I just think that all that experience is going to really help him against Ferreira. He's going to have to get inside that reach advantage because, like I said, Ferreira's 6'7". He's got just massive tree trunk legs that extend forever, and he's got long arms. So Bader's going to have to get inside that so that there's not really a reach advantage, and it turns into a disadvantage for Hernan. But if you end up ordering this one, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I think it's going to be one of the best fight nights that you're definitely going to see. So, kind of recaps and sets you up for this weekend. Like I said, 3 massive events coming this weekend. But let's get into the next one because no reason to talk Raw, no reason to talk SmackDown. They've got the go-home shows coming this weekend, including it'll add somebody to a match, but I don't think it's going to factor in. So let's just start by talking about the Elimination Chamber, which is going to be from Burstwood, Western Australia, at the Optus Stadium. This is at an outdoor stadium. I think it's the first time since 2018 the Elimination Chamber or that the WWE is going to be in Australia for an event. But look for more of these world travels for the big pay-per-views because they're really getting that global audience back after the pandemic and everything like that. They're really starting to recover. They're one of the few things that went through all that as safe as they could. And there's only 4 matches for the Elimination Chamber. There's 2 chamber matches and there's 2 title matches. It's because they're pretty much giving everybody else a little bit of a rest. Everybody got dinged up at the Royal Rumble, and they're trying to get everybody to WrestleMania as healthy as possible. You know, they're missing CM Punk. They're missing a couple other ones. They're trying to get as many people here as possible. And I do think there could be some surprise winners on this one. So let's start with match number 1. They are going to start off with the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Damian Priest are going to defend their tag team titles, undisputed ones, that is, against New Catch Republic. I like that name. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I think we're getting, you can call it an upset. I think they're pretty even teams. I think the Judgment Day is going to start to implode a little bit here. And I don't know if R-Truth or somebody else may kind of intervene here or just a lapse of continuity. But you can't give Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate a chance to win or they're going to win. And I think they're going to be the new tag champs moving forward. I think that puts that division in a different direction. And I look forward to it because at some point, Damian Priest has got to cash in his briefcase. He's got about 3 months to do so. So look at him to like suddenly kind of hurry that up. Don't know if he's going to be successful or not, but he might even do it at WrestleMania. That might be a decent cash-in spot. But I think they're losing their tag titles. We go to the Women's Elimination Chamber. Now, this is the one I said apparently there's going to be a battle royal to put the last participant in either tonight or Friday, or I don't know when they're going to do it. Doesn't really matter. Whoever the person they put in there, I don't think is going to win. So the other participants in this, you have Becky Lynch, you have Bianca Belair, you have Liv Morgan, you have Tiffany Stratton, and you have Naomi. Well, Naomi just came back. Naomi versus Rhea Ripley doesn't make any sense because the next match, by the way, Rhea Ripley is going to defend her women's title against Nia Jax. I like that they've pushed Nia Jax as this big beast, this big monster that's really hard to get by. But I think Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill is a way better matchup for WrestleMania than Nia Jax defending a title. I think Rhea Ripley's going to retain. So let's go back to the Women's Elimination Chamber. Who makes the best matchup for Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania? Well, Liv Morgan, pretty good one. Like I said, Naomi just got there. Naomi versus Rhea, there's no real rift there. They got a little bit of time to build it, but doesn't make a lot of sense. Tiffany Stratton would be, but she's brand new too, and a lot of the main card audience don't know what Tiffy time is. So maybe next time, Tiff. Then you get into the 3 that actually have the legitimate chance. You got Liv Morgan, who just come back from injury, but everybody likes her. She's got a big following. She's really over with the crowd. Her versus Rhea has happened once or twice, but full out at WrestleMania, Liv Morgan's one you could push. Bianca Belair, obviously, she's been in the spotlight before. Her versus Rhea could be pretty good. I think they kind of clash as far as style. They have to book it kind of weird, in my opinion. They're both really good. Just doesn't match well. You know, it'd be like cheese and peanut butter. Cheese is good by itself. Peanut butter's good by itself. But when you put the two together, it's just not really what you thought it was. And then you get the man Becky Lynch, which makes a lot of sense. You free her up from Nia Jax running her over and flattening her all the time. She's really pushing her autobiography that's coming out next month. I think you can pre-order it. I've seen about 50 dozen ads for it. So, hey, maybe the pre-sales are doing good. Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley makes a lot of sense because that's the biggest star in this match. But for the sake of me making this pick, so this is my official pick for the Women's Elimination Chamber. I think Liv Morgan is going to win this. I think we're going to get Rhea versus Liv. I think it's going to be really fun. You can kind of do this sort of DC comic like thing because you got the dark Rhea Ripley, who's kind of the dark brooding goth character, and you get Liv Morgan, who kind of does the Harley Quinn sort of spinoff. So you kind of get the Catwoman versus Harley Quinn kind of DC comic spinoff there, and I think you can do a lot with that with WrestleMania. I think you can really sell a lot more tickets if you do that. So my official pick, Liv Morgan. And lastly, we get to the men's elimination chamber rather, and this should be pretty good. I think it's loaded with too many top guys that I think it's going to be a little crowded. I actually think the women's match is going to be better than the men's. But your participants in the men's, you have Drew McIntyre, you have Randy Orton, you have Bobby Lashley, you have LA Knight, you have Kevin Owens, and you have Logan Paul. Logan Paul is not going to win. Logan Paul is going to have some really fun moments that'll probably be bigger than the actual whoever wins. He'll have some fun, trendy moments because he's really good at doing that. But there's no way that because the winner of this is going to take on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Logan Paul, Seth Rollins is cool, not for a WrestleMania main event. Kevin Owens, I like KO. He's not winning. Bobby Lashley, he's not winning. I like it. Really good, really destructive. He's not going to win. So that leaves McIntyre, that leaves LA Knight, and that leaves Orton. Well, LA Knight is a face. He's a good guy. So Seth Rollins. Seth is not flipping anytime soon. LA Knight's not flipping anytime soon. So that matchup doesn't make the world's most sense. In fact, LA Knight's a SmackDown guy. It makes way better sense if he's chasing Roman Reigns than it is Seth Rollins. So thanks for coming, LA Knight. You're not winning. So then we get Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre makes the most sense because he's been calling out Seth and anybody else, and he feels like he got cheated because his only title reign in WWE his heavyweight one had to do during the pandemic, so he was doing it for practically cardboard boxes and nobody out there that was actually in the crowd, and it got cut kind of short because that's when Roman started his big run once he come back. But then you got Randy Orton, who is the ultimate gray character in that he's clearly a good guy, but he can also go kind of heelish. He can kind of just be in between, and he can face anybody. Randy Orton is a big draw. He draws in a lot of money, draws in a lot of attention. Him headlining WrestleMania with Seth Rollins could be really good. But I tell you, the best matchup is Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, and that's my pick. Drew McIntyre is going to win this. He's going to realize his moment. He's going to kind of have his big moment here, and small chance, depending on how dinged up Seth is, that he has a WrestleMania moment, gets another title run, and I think he should. But those are my official picks for Elimination Chamber, for UFC, for Bellator versus PFL. So it kind of leaves us into the few other things that happened in wrestling this week. I like that while Women of Wrestling is starting this trios thing, because that way we can get more of the superstars in matches each and every week. They are really showcase. They haven't really just thrown a couple people together just to have a team. It's like no, you get Genesis, Exodus, and Ice Cold. You get Team Spirit with Coach Campanelli, who is going to step in for Ariel Sky now with Pep Riley and Sasha Sparks. That's going to be a fun little team. I hate that Ariel Sky dinged up her neck, and I don't have any update on that at the moment. I know she's going to be out for foreseeable future, at least a handful of months, because they tape like a whole season of WoW in like a couple weeks. So if you see her not wrestling right now, then she's probably out the rest of the season because they've already filmed it all. I like that they split off G.I. Jane from the Samantha Smart group she was a part of. I think she could be pushed as a big-time star. She's got the military background. She's likable. And, her feuding with them can really build up and really do some good stuff. So I think she might make the logjam that much that much more jammed up if you can push her up into maybe a title picture, because she can hang with a lot of them. And congratulations, Miami Sweet Heat, on taking the tag titles off of the Tonga Twins. I feel like the Tonga Twins might be moving on soon, and that may be partially why they're dropping the titles here. Because if not, why would they drop the belts to the people they just beat a couple weeks ago? Didn't make a lot of sense to me either. New Japan. Let's go to New Japan real quick, and we'll finish up with AEW. New Japan this week, we got to see Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay, both of which are leaving New Japan, and they got their send-off for sure. I think Okada's officially done. He should be in WWE, maybe for WrestleMania. That would be a great payoff for them. If not, post WrestleMania, he'll be showing up more than likely. And then Will Ospreay has one last first cage match in New Japan history, as his squad are going to face against David Finlay and the War Dogs, otherwise known as the New Bullet Club. But Will Ospreay with TJP and Jeff Cobb and Eddie Kingston might be involved. That's gonna be like a War Games match or something. I don't know what it is exactly. They haven't said, but it's first time in New Japan history they've had a cage match. So expect a lot of brutality, because all the people involved can really destroy each other. So they probably will. But Okada, I think, ends his New Japan career 5-1 or 6-1, 7-1, something like that against Ospreay. That's about right. Ospreay's really good, but Okada has always been that guy. So more power to him. And we wish them both the best, because we know Will Ospreay is going to be in AEW very, very soon. Speaking of AEW, they've got some stuff going on. There's some stuff on the things I really want you to know. I really like what the Young Bucks are doing. They beat Top Flight, which is a young up-and-coming team. But the Young Bucks kind of saying, yeah, we're the executive producers. We're the executives of this company, but we can throw our weight around, and we're going to take those titles off of Sting and Darby. I told you guys that's last week. Is Sting going to retire as a tag team champion, or are the Young Bucks going to steal it? It's an interesting storyline. You can go either way with either one of them. It's kind of weird that the best thing they could do for Samoa Joe is his first title defense is against Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page. Clearly, he's probably going to beat them both, even though Swerve as champion makes a lot of sense. He is by far the most over person on the screen, I would say, outside of Orange Cassidy. What else is there? Scary moment for Jeff Hardy when he took on Sammy Guevara, as Guevara was doing a shooting star press and accidentally kicked him in the head and looked like he knocked him out for a second. He legitimately looked like he was out. Seemed like he recovered, though. They ended up finishing the match, and seemed like he's going to be okay. I haven't heard any reports otherwise. We got to see Ross and Marshall Von Erich as they teamed up with Dustin Rhodes to take on 3 random people. But, maybe we'll see more of the Von Erichs. Now that the movie's kind of been out, now that people are understanding a lot about this family, Ross and Marshall are pretty solid. We'll see if maybe they're a formidable tag team going forward. But just kind of good to see them. They're starting to finally push Queen Aminata, who former military as well, very decorated from everything I saw. And she got the win over Anna Jay, who's another one they were starting to push. It's kind of nice that she's from Georgia. She's from Brunswick, Georgia. But looks like Queen Aminata may actually get a little bit of a boost, and she's a fun one. Team Lethal Jarrett, whatever they're going to call themselves, still have a lot of issues, as they lost their match when they had Uno Silver and Reynolds with them against the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. That definitely are going to set all kinds of new records for merchandise and stuff like that. Plus, they have 5 belts between the 6 of them? Or no, they have both sets of trio belts. So the Ring of Honor and the AEW. So at some point they should meet to see who's going to be the best there. Other than that, the only things, that's pretty much the big stuff there. In NXT, the War Dogs won the tag championships, even though Braun Breaker just signed to SmackDown, so we will see what that actually means. Stacks and D'Angelo, I think, are going to get called up, is why they lost the belts. Let's see. The Rich Holland versus Wolfgang Mark and Joe Coffey. I think you got to give Rich some other people. I don't know who else you're going to team up with him right now, but it needs to be a 3-on-3. This 1 versus 3 it just gets older. He's going to keep getting beat up all the time. The return of Chase U, thanks to the calendars they come up with, is an interesting turn. I really thought they were going to dump a couple of them and go a different direction. They continue to misbook Lexus King. I don't think they have an idea what to do with him. They gave him a decent gimmick. He's been able to do well with it, but he's just randomly all over the show. He's about as random over the show as Joe Gacy has been, where he just shows up in just the goofiest places, picks fights with people, and then it doesn't turn into anything. So we'll just have to see if they were able to figure that out. And I say Carmelo Hayes is probably going to get called up soon if you don't technically consider him already. He's done a lot of stuff on the big stage. I think it's going to eventually be that Trick Williams gets a big win over Melo, and then Melo will get called up. That's more than likely what's going to happen, but that's pretty much all we got for this week. Shout out to all you amazing people that make this show so much fun to come on and talk pro wrestling and MMA each and every week. And remember, as I said, put your I made a women's Elimination Chamber match prediction. Make sure to put that in the comments below. I will pick a winner from all the correct submissions, and we'll get you guys something. It'll be something cool. You guys will enjoy it. And as always, got UFC this week, got PFL versus Bellator this week, and you've got Elimination Chamber this week, and they're all happening within about an hour of each other. So enjoy your Saturday nights, everybody. But until then, we will see you guys next week. Go watch fighting. Go watch wrestling. Deuces, gooses.